All right, well, just a quick fleeting moment. Look at that, absolutely beautiful. Just after that very first bit of light shining across the top of the thing. You can keep on going now, and if you did, keep chasing the light, you could put more and more down there, but you'd lose the original impression. And the original impression of this painting was just capturing the light, licking the top of the hills or the cliffs as the sun first rose. Might do a few more touch-ups. Let's get into it. Just a few little things like so, not too much. Giving the illusion of detail with a few little fine marks here and there. All right, well, I reckon we should leave it at that. Like I said, the light's moved completely now. You can see that the light has lit up that bank completely. I preferred it when it was just that first lick of light licking across the top here and creating that beautiful, really high key oranges and magentas and whatever. It's already gone more to yellowy oranges now, but at the start you were getting these beautiful licks of magenta and stuff, and that's why you don't want to keep chasing the light. Just go for the original impression and then leave it at that, and don't keep chasing it because it's going to keep on moving extremely quickly. Right, so we'll leave all that in shadow, nice soft reflection, buttery chunky style. Let's get the camera off, come buzzing right in, you guys can have a look, see what you think. All right. All right, get all the paints back on board, get back into it. Back to camp. Like I said, freezing morning, no gloves on, absolutely frozen hands. Hope I don't get chilblains, I've had that before. When the weather gets that cold, it's so easy for your fingers to freeze up, so it's best to keep them moving as much as you can. I find it kind of hard to paint with gloves on. So, just try and rug up as much as I can. Keep the rest of my body warm, and hopefully that'll keep my hands warmer. There we go. A bit more, a few more turns maybe. Right here. All right, well there we have it, back at camp. As you can see, I've got a pretty good view of the cliffs at night time here. The moon was out, so I had a lovely full moon. All those cliffs were lit up beautifully, not a breath of wind. Looking out the swag window through the night, you can see the cliffs all lit up. Absolute magic. Fantastic stuff. All right, cup of tea. Right, where there's smoke, there's fire. Just got to get this morning fire recranked. I like to get up way before I paint the picture, have a couple of cups of tea, and then get into it. And hence this fire from earlier on when I had the cuppers. Now I'm just trying to reboot it. There we go, she's in. Okay, time to put the billy back on and have the celebration cuppa now. The first ones were anticipation cup of teas, getting ready. Now we're going to celebrate the fact that we did a nice little plein air piece. Okay, lovely stuff. There's that pelican just sitting out there in the direct sunlight. Beautiful stuff. Drop of milk in, good as gold. Cheers. Here's to plein air painting. Lovely. Now when we look here, you can see the slight ripples from the water reflecting back up into the bank. In the shadows of the bank there, just flickering. That's those slight ripples that I made, because there's not many ripples on the water today. It's pretty much me making them, because there's a lack of wind. But look at those ochre colours. Beautiful. Got the rice on cooking, on the slow cook. Rice and raisins and apple, stewed apple, absolutely beautiful stuff. Can't wait to get back, but I'm just giving it a slow cook for an hour, so it'll be lovely and warm. Beautiful breakfast. This is great, isn't it? Great stuff. Little nests up there too. Little bird's nests, I think, underneath on the underside of the ledges there. Made out of clay. Look at bird's nest. Alright, head back to the other side, see how everything's going. Got a beautiful little beach here where I've camped. A lovely sandbar, lovely sandbank. Look at that. Perfect. You don't get a lot of spots on the river like this, just beautiful shallow sandbank. Absolutely fantastic. Fantastic for doing what I'm doing. Now, I just push the boat up a little so we're on board. There we go. Alright, now this is the original campsite I booked, and when I got here I realised I can't get the trailer right in close. I can up there, so what I did is end up booking two campsites, so I'm just up here up the way, because I can get the trailer right closer to the edge, so because maybe I want to do a big one later on from the side of the trailer. This is actually a better campsite with that lovely bank that we're talking about, that shallow docking area, but at the same time, I can't bring the trailer down here to paint if I want to paint a large one. So I also camped just up the road here, and that's where my porridge is cooking, my rice porridge. So I'll head back to camp, see how it's going. Alright, she's on the slow cook there. Just ticking over nicely. Let's have a look, eh? We'll see what's going on. Lovely stuff. Let's keep that going for a while. You'll see where we are. You'll see the bedding arrangement. Pretty simple stuff. Just a swag. Got a mozzie net here, so you're all whatever. Inside there, heaps of blankets because it's cold nights. Roll up, good as gold when you want to go. Absolutely fantastic, these swags. Don't take up a lot of room. People always think because I've got the big trailer that obviously I've got some bed set up in here, but that's not the case, is it? That's just all painting gear, camping and painting gear. I prefer to camp under the stars anyway, but here we go. Yeah, so big box for big paintings, medium-sized box for medium paintings. That box can also go on the canoe if I want to take it further out and take a whole lot of painting boards with me, canvases. Clips, coats, paints go in here. 12-volt system, solar panels on the roof to keep it all going. Nice fold-out table, water with a big water container underneath and a pump there. So on the whole, all pretty good for doing what I'm doing. And yeah, fold-out awnings on the side of both the car and the trailer. All good stuff. Alright, well this will be the midday shot here. Now I've backed the trailer right down, the plein air trailer, so I've got fantastic access straight to the subject matter. So I'll paint from the side of the trailer. Now the thing is also, to get this trailer level, because it was running downhill, so the painting would have been on a weird angle, I've dug a hole just here, and the idea of that is to drop the back of the car down, which will raise the camper up. Well, not the camper, the plein air trailer raises it up by dropping the back wheel. So, having a look. So I'm doing that. This was pointing downhill towards the river, but now she's levelled up. So we've got the perfect platform for painting that subject. Cannot wait. Just going to wait a little bit longer until this is in shadow. The sun's going around. She's just starting to go into shadow now. I don't like to paint with light directly on my canvas. I find it easy to judge colours when it's in the shadow. So she's coming around now, she's going into the shadow. As soon as that happens, boom, the big midday painting. Let's get into it. Alright, well, here we are, all set up, time to go. Now this time, instead of painting on linen or canvas, I'm painting on birch board, something different. Clear primed, so she's got a nice protective clear acrylic primer, all ready to go. I just taped off there just because the trailer's still on a little bit of an angle and I just want to make sure I get all the horizons absolutely level. So, once I've just got the edge of that water, I'll peel it straight off. It's just to give me an idea. Alright, got all the paint out, big chunks of paint, viridian green, magenta, phthalo blue, burnt sienna, alizarin crimson, yellow ochre, titanium white, and a couple of cad colours, and of course palette knife. Let's just get into it, eh? Alright, I might just go for a dark, put some of the darks in first. Just put a bit of a red and a green, that'll make a pretty dark. Just to pick out the edge of this. It'll give me the edge of the waterline, then I'll get that tape off. Don't want too much, just a little bit. Now painting on board with a knife's a little different. It's good when the canvas flexes or the linen flexes, so it'll be quite interesting to see how it goes with the knife. If I find it's not flexing enough, at some stages I may get the brush out. We'll just see how we go. That'll come down. That one will go up there. Just getting the edges established. There's a few bushes just there. A little bit of a cliff coming down there. Another one just here. Now these are just very suggestive at the moment, just feeling the composition. Alright, so I want maybe a bit of tree action there. That one can be maybe there. Just on the edge, maybe suggesting there. This is just a pleasing random pattern of the trees. Let me just stand back and see. A bit of reeds in there. Before I stand back, I'll stand back in a minute and have a look, just make sure I've got everything how I want it before I start locking anything in. Alright, let's have a look. Well, that's probably about right. Let's just get into it now. We'll go for some blue. Let's do the sky. Bit of yellow ochre, tons of white, yellow ochre, blue. Just going to knock it back with a little bit of that red stuff there because it's such a strong chromatic saturation, because I've been using the phthalo blue, which is incredibly strong colour. A bit more yellow ochre in it. Yeah, we'll go a bit more red to knock it back. Being the opposite on the colour wheel, when you mix it with the blue, mixing the opposite colours will knock it back in chromatic saturation, so it won't be so intense. We still want it pretty intense, but just not too intense. A bit more white to lighten the value. Might go a bit of magenta, throw a bit of magenta in there. Or red, it doesn't really matter, any of those ones, which will be the opposite on the colour wheel to the ochres, to help knock it back. A bit more white, just lighten the value. Just lay that on. Now straight away I can feel the difference with the board compared to the linen. Doesn't use as much paint. It lays it on the top without using anywhere near as much paint. It still gives it a chunky style, so there may be something in that. Let me have a look now. The water's a bit ripply now because there's a bit of wind on the water. Earlier on, there was absolutely perfect reflections, as in just a mirror image of what was going on here. I'll just put a bit of the blue in as if it is a mirror image. And see how we go. Just a bit to suggest that. A bit more blue, a bit more magenta-y red colour. Just going up a little higher now. So it's a little bit darker in value, got a bit less white and a bit more of the reds. I do want an intense colour. Maybe a bit more white, that's too much of a jump. Just want subtle gradations here. It's a little bit darker. We'll go to blend those ones together. Now, twang more white to lighten that value. She's just a little bit too dark still. That's it, subtle changing. This board being that kind of ochre-y colour is quite a nice contrast to the blue sky, I reckon. Instead of painting on white, primed, having it clear primed, it is protected like I said, having it clear primed is quite interesting. A bit of that there and a bit of that there. Let's go a bit more blue and magenta. A bit more magenta, darken the value as it goes right up there, really intense, lovely blue. Let's have a look. Oh, heck, that's blue. A little bit more white to lighten that, and a bit more red. There we go, getting into it. It's probably a bit better. Just tap it across there. Nice and neat. go. I'll blend these together in a minute with a knife. At the moment I'm just applying the paint. Get around this side. Just get that paint on. You can see it slides on beautifully with the board because the knife is just like troweling a wall. It's like using some sort of mortar mix, chunky style. Alright, that's on there. Just going to stand back and make sure I've got the right colours for what I want. Alright, immediately I can see it's all lovely. It's a little bit too blue. I want to just grey it off down here. Like there's a little bit, that's the benefit of painting plein air. I can see when I stand out here there's a little bit more of a haze. Just lighten that value as white. Magenta, maybe burnt sienna. I really want to grey it off a bit down low. I'm going to use a bit of magenta and burnt sienna in that blue. That'll really knock it back a few notches. A bit more burnt sienna. Keep it a light value. Have a look what we've got here. Lighten her up a bit more. That's good, that's graded off as it gets lower. Just hit that grey note. That's good. Pull them together a little. Mix them up a bit. Okay, blend, blend, blend. Do the same down here, use a bit of that. Just grey her off a bit. Right, it's about right. Now I'll establish a few shadows. Because the light's directly behind me, looking that way, there's not a lot of shadows, but the shadows that are there are quite dark, so bung them in. We use magenta, what's the name? Alizarin Crimson, a nice red, Viridian Green, that's a super dark. Can use a bit of yellow ochre because it's not quite that dark. Burnt sienna to weaken her off a bit. Dark. I might just go a little bit of yellow ochre, a little bit of that sky blue to lighten it. We don't want it too dark. We want it dark but not too dark. How's that sound? Just there. Just a little bit. I'm going to paint over a lot of those darks too. I'm putting them in at the moment, but I'll go over them with a light source. I just want to put the shadow source in. Stick light over it. Okay, just lighten that value a little bit of magenta with those sky blues, a bit more magenta. What have we got here? Just up on the hill here, a little bit dark, a little bit receded, so not quite as strong. Alright, not too bad. Let's keep moving around. We'll get into some watercolour now. Yellow ochre, burnt sienna, Viridian Green. I have to put some more Viridian Green on, I can see that. A bit more burnt sienna. Alright, we're going to have a tree here. Definitely have a tree there. Stick these reflections in. The wind's starting to kick out again, which means you're getting those reflections back again, which is good. This is what I want. Reflections do look nice. Just got to bulk colour down. What have we got here? Go it that way. Slide that down. Stick a bit of that in here. bit more white, a bit more magenta, a bit more magenta. Gonna knock up some of that foliage colour now, the light source of the foliage. There's some beautiful magenta greys with the salt bushes. Just have a look. They're kind of like that. I'll put them on. Just suggest them on for now. Down here and a bit down there. A bit running that way. Stick it on here and there. Goes there like that. Just got to feel it. Feel the energy of what's going on. That's it. Okay. Yellow ochre, burnt sienna, Viridian green, yellow ochre, Viridian green, burnt sienna. Get that sky blue thrown in just to knock it back a bit. What is that? What do we got? Yeah, not bad. Alright, might just lighten the value a little. We'll get some of these lighter greys and whatever, lightly rub them in, a bit more magenta in that. Lightly rub it in. I'm trying to get some of the foliage colour of these gum trees. Let's have a look. Some of them are quite grey. There's a bit more yellow ochre than that, and a bit more burnt sienna. They're a little bit richer in colour. Let me have a look. Yeah, they're kind of that. Kind of that. Kind of a khaki colour, I guess you'd say. Slightly put it on. Yellow ochre. A little bit more intensity, a little bit more green, a bit more yellow ochre for this one in the middle. Slightly touch there. A bit more of the foliage here and there. Alright, now go to white, yellow, white, bit of the Viridian green mix of that. I'm trying to get the reed colour now. So I'm going yellow ochre, white and the Viridian green. Seems to be about right. It's quite a light value. So, knock it in there, knock it in there. She's running all the way along here. Just keep it going all the way along. There we go. All right. Now that's working out all right. Now let's go for some change tack here from burnt sienna, alizarin crimson, get some nice real red sort of browns. There's some beautiful different variety of colours in this cliff. We've got some lovely red browns, maybe a little bit lighter in value. Chocolatey colour, so you got the burnt sienna. Yeah, that red, alizarin crimson and the burnt sienna is a wonderful combination for it. It's just a layer of it running through, like a sediment's going at a certain level, and then other levels are different colours, so it's great variety. Put more of that in. Just there, yep. A little bit here like I was doing. Plenty there, a bit more chocolatey colour. And that's through there like that. Alright, now I'll go for some yellow ochre, a different phase of the cliff, yellow ochre and burnt sienna. Let's see what we got. Yellow ochre and burnt sienna with a little bit of white to lighten the value. Some beautiful ochres down in here. I just want to get the value right though, so you just got to add the right amount of white, not too much, not too little. About right. Before we go any further, I'll pull back to there, get some of that shadow again. I went over too much of it. Right, the yellow ochre cliff was there. It's a bit more orangey and ochre over here. A mixture of the two. In here, it's kind of a mixture of the both. So yellow ochre, a bit more, it's a lighter value, so a bit more white. Yellow ochre, white, let's see what we got here. Half mixed. Bit more burnt sienna. There's a lot of different values, like I was saying. Subtle colours and tones in this hill. This goes up to burnt sienna here, so I want to concentrate on bringing all that subtlety out. So it's more burnt sienna dominant there. Even more burnt sienna. Just on the top here. Just put some straight stuff in so I can see what I'm doing there. There's too much white. That one's there. Just up here, burnt sienna but more white. Like I'm saying, we've got so many different layers. It's got more white and it really pops against the sky when you use that white too. Like that. Let me have a look. That's working well. Now I'm just going to fill this board in here, get a bit of paint on there, and we're using, it's a very light value there, we're using the ochre colours but a bit more white. And it comes down here, maybe a bit more of that ochre colour. That could even be slightly grey there, so I'm going to mix a little bit of blue and magenta into that to actually grey it off. A bit more white. Purposely trying to mix more of a grey soil colour there. Just like I said, I want to bring up all the variances. It's kind of nice. It needs a bit more yellow ochre than that, but it's good to have a bit of a base of that grey with it. That'll be there. And that'll run up there, a bit more yellow ochre and white. Get into the ochres and whites up here. Okay. Subtle, subtle. I can see burnt sienna sliding down here, so I'll slide some down. But that burnt sienna, a slight red colour to it. This is unbelievable, the subtleties in here. I don't think I'd see all these subtleties if I was painting from a photo. It's the benefit of being on site. Burnt sienna. Chocolatey burnt siennas. Yellow ochre, shooting down this way, yellow ochre. I'm actually going to get a little bit of yellow and red. I haven't got any orange, I ran out of orange, so I'm going to use yellow and red, mix them together and make an orange. Just through here there's a real nice patch, extension of that really. It's more orange, so I'll put it in so I can see it, like that. Go through there, and that hill behind it, it's got a fair amount of orange, but there's also a lot of grey greens. The saltbush is really dominating there, so I'll stick that on. And some of these silvery qualities up there as well. Just so many subtle colours. I'm going midday and you think, oh, midday is pretty boring, it's only got a few colours, but the subtlety, magenta, subtlety's off the charts actually. Just knock that back a bit. Lightly touch, put the foliage on. I've got the shadow versions here now. I'll go over it with these colours I just mixed up. Stick a bit more green in here. Let's get this water filled in better. That there. That there. Now, white, yellow ochre, burnt sienna. There's so many ochre colours in this ochre cliff, surprise, surprise. Yellow ochre and burnt sienna. More yellow ochre. Maybe a bit of the yellow to intensify that. In the reflection, it's a real orangey colour. That's that there. More yellow ochre. Stick a bit of red in, maybe riching her up with red. That there. Chocolatey brown. Just trying to get the board covered now. Get a good coverage going. And I can start smearing it around and blending and doing whatever needs to be done. Alright, things are coming along. Might just do a bit of blending now. Let's have a look. Just lightly pull this together. These little marks, just blend that water. Little ripply marks. Like so. Just bring it all together nicely. Bits of blue, bits of broken colour, bits of ochre here and there. Wipe that clean. Bring that up. There we go. Nice. Wipe that now. Pull that through. So, just soften and blend as we go. Break it up. Wipe it clean. Alright, let's change tack, go for a littler knife, go for some white. Try to get some lighter values going on. Bit of cad colour maybe thrown in with it. What I want to do is draw in some of these lovely trunks that are over here. The knife on edge, hang on, let's get the knife on edge. That's it. Draw them in. Alright, where have we got here? What do we got? There's a lovely tree trunk just here which I might put in. A beautiful old dead tree. It's got lovely character. It's got some silvery qualities. Go for some more magenta with the white. Got that kind of grey silvery quality colour. Put that in. Knife on edge. Draft her in. It actually goes right up, so I'll put that up through there. Some more on here. Draw that in. through there. Bit of that one there. Just grab a clean knife. Just going to subtly blend. There's little ripples on the water from that wind. Just subtly blend them through. We're getting little bits of blue too because of that. Dancing through like this. Bit of that sky blue because of the ripples on the water. It's just dancing through lovely, which is the complementary colour of the ochre cliff. So you're getting that beautiful warm against cool. Nice. Alright, she's coming along. I've got all the colours and tones that I want. Pretty happy with all that. Hang on, I'll just put this down. But I feel like I need a bit more softness, and I'm finding that the board is a bit hard to soften, so I'm going to get the brush out. We'll see how we go with that, eh? Let's just work it around a bit. Brush is good for just knocking the edge off things and just bringing a little bit of softness. And when you're working on canvas or linen with just a knife, you can quite often get away with not needing the brush, but I find that the brush on a board just gives you that little bit of extra zhoomph. Just paint that in. So it's still applied with the knife, but that softness can really come in now. All right, well, I reckon I might leave it at that. That brush really worked well. Just a little bit of flick in there, soft, soft, soft. Then you put the refinement back on with the knife and you get that beautiful contrast of hard and soft. Always a better contrast. All right, well, here we are back in the studio. Now, what happened here, I was editing the video back at home and I was going through the footage and I started looking at the picture as I was editing it and thought, now, I don't normally like to get the painting out of the painting box as soon as I get home from the trip, but I looked at this one and I just thought, I reckon I could do a few more refining marks, just a little bit here and there and really bring it up. So I thought, right, let's do it. So I got it out, looked at it, and I'm glad I did now because what I've done is just reeled it in. On location, on site, I got all those subtle colours, and that was the benefit of working on location. I could pick up all the subtle variety through here and through there and whatever else. But once I got home, I thought, right, now I just want to reel it in that little bit and give the illusion of detail to really make it feel finished. So what I've done here is just in this area where your eyes get drawn in, I've put some extra little twigs and lines and a few more here and a couple up there just to give that feeling of detail, and then it makes the rest of the painting look like it's quite finished too because it's that illusion. This foreground shadow that I had here I did on site, and they're the trees from behind us here as I'm painting. They were casting across the river a little. I just re-emphasised that because it got a little bit lost in here, and what that does, that keyed that side down, and here I added a couple more highlights just there, and that's the light tone, so it's gone from the dark to the light, so it pulls your eyes through the composition. So I feel like it's improved the flow just that little bit more. On the whole, didn't have to do too much, just a little lick of wind because on the day, as you saw, quite often the reflection was absolutely mirror perfect, and then every now and then you'd get a little bit of breeze on the water and it'd just scoof across. And I thought that's a great way to get the contrast between warm and cool. So what I did here, just got a little bit of the sky blue and just whisked it across as if there's just a flick of wind going across the surface. And now you've got that beautiful feeling of orange and blue, that warm and cool contrast to give you those complementary colours. On the whole, pretty happy with what's going on. Why don't we get that camera off now, come buzzing right in. You guys can have a look and see what you think. All right. That's cooking away nicely. Got my favourite, kind of a vegetable stew, I guess you could say. Got plenty of beans in there, plenty of sweet potato and carrot, onion, garlic, ginger, mushrooms. Good gear. Keeps you going out in the bush. Good fuel. Just knock that up. I'll knock up plenty so I've got a few more than one feed. That way I'll be able to paint more often and don't have to cook, because this takes quite a while to cook, but I like to eat whole food, so I go through the whole process of cooking the whole thing. But if I cook a bigger batch, well, I don't have to do it as often, so there you go. Look at the weather, eh? It's magical now, absolutely magical. I'll just spin it around again so you can see what I'm looking at. Glowing cliffs. Water things always taste better when you're camping out in the bush. I make this at home and it just does not have the same flavour. This is just beautiful. Maybe it's a slight smoked flavour, I don't know. Maybe it's because it's cooked in the camp oven. But it's just, the flavour seems more intense. Just draw a couple of little branches in here and there. Alright, time to get back to camp. Pack up some of this stuff. Look at that beautiful light on the cliff now. It's really popped through behind the cloud. Absolutely fantastic stuff, eh? Boom. Alright, back at camp. Here we go. Nice little painting. The fire's still going, which is great. Might just put this over here. Fire's going, which is great. Let's just stoke her up a bit. Yeah, well, didn't know what I was going to get because of the fact that we had quite a bit of cloud on the horizon, but it actually worked out well, because instead of just getting a blue sky at sunrise, I got all those subtle, beautiful cloud colours lit up. So got the hills lit up, the cliffs lit up, and the sky itself, which worked well because it gave beautiful reflections in the water also. So on the whole, pretty happy. You never know what you're going to get with plein air painting, that's the thing. You can plan to do something, but then the weather or the location or the light tells you something different. Anyway, happy with what's going on. No worries.